class Liew, also known as Nick. He is the IBSSA class of 2016, and right now he's the financial analyst of JP Morgan. So how you doing, Nick?
Good, good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. No, thanks for asking. So how's the web treating you right now?
Delaware is treating me just, great actually. It's a quiet place, a great place, coming out of school, if you want to land a job at a company and then have a pretty decent life, I think Delaware is the place to be.
All right. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself as well as your current job?
So I graduated in May of 2016, just a couple months ago. I started my job at JP Morgan in June, so a little more than a month after I graduated. I'm in this program called Financial Analyst Development Program, which is a 2-year rotational program. So the company puts you in different functions within the company. Right now, I'm in financial control, which means we maintain the integrity of the financial statements of JP Morgan Chase. So what I do every day is I make sure that the numbers that go on the financial statements that investors of JP Morgan read are, the numbers are accurate. So basically, that's my main, role.
Tell me a little bit about, so how did you decide that you want this career? So why investment banking?
So I knew when I was at Brandeis that I wanted to get into corporate finance. But corporate finance is huge, and investment banking is huge. My line of business is corporate and investment bank, and there's commercial banking and all that. But my role is CIB, which stands for Corporate Investment Bank. And within Corporate Investment Bank, we have corporate finance and investment banking, and I'm sort of between the two because I make sure that I make sure that the financial statements of the company are good, in good shape before they get released. So I deal with corporate finance, and a lot of my responsibility revolves around accounting. So I deal with accounting a lot. From the get-go, I knew I wanted to get corporate finance. And from there, I sort of narrowed down into, I guess, this particular role of financial analyst.
So working in the field of investment banking, so what aspect do you find most challenging?
I think the most challenging part of my job is understanding the process. Um, I basically, like I said, I have to make sure that the accounting that goes on the financial statements is good, which means I have to understand how trades work because I deal with traders. I deal with, people that sell, like the trade settlement team of the traders. And so basically so that's the most challenging part, just to understand how a trade flows through, the JP Morgan system. And then knowing who to talk to is crucial to my job. I talk to people from product control a lot. So product control, I don't know how to explain that, but I'm in financial control. I talk to product control. They control the other side of the business. So basically, I talk to them on a daily basis, just knowing I need to know my stuff. So I've been at the company for 3 months, and just trying to learn, the job and being able to talk to these people, I think is really important.
How you feel like, so how important is networking to you, like before and after Brandeis?
Before Brandeis, networking was more of an opportunity to get to know people who will eventually, may or may not get you a job, right?
Okay.
Or get you an interview. So that was the goal. When I was at Brandeis, my networking goal was to talk to people who might potentially land me a job. Now networking after graduation, now that I'm at JP Morgan, I network with a lot of people within the company, and we have a lot of social events where you get to meet with higher ups. You get to meet with people in different parts of the company, and now you're just thinking, okay, how do you want your career to be? What do you want it to be? And then you sort of just chart your career path that way. And then networking right now is getting to know who's going to help you further, or advance your career. So that's the difference, I think, and I think it's true for a lot of employees.
So why Brandeis? I'm just curious about your choice of school.
Brandeis, a couple of things. When I got out of college, I had a hard time, looking for a job because even though I had a great GPA, I did well in school. But the challenge at the time was trying to find a job, but I didn't know anyone. So networking was something I wasn't used to, that I did not know about. People, were saying, okay, you got to go network people because that's how you get a job. And I was like, maybe you just need to study hard, and as long as you study hard, what people see, what employers see on paper, that's sufficient. And I was wrong. So I wanted to get into Brandeis because I wanted to get into a 2-year finance program. So that would give me like a summer or even um, a couple of semesters to do an internship outside of school. That's number one. Number two, I wanted to hold leadership positions, and I knew that Brandeis offered, Brandeis still has a lot of clubs and different organizations that give you an opportunity to hold leadership positions. So I wanted to leverage that, and of course, you can't deny that Brandeis has some of the best and brightest faculty members.
Oh yes, definitely.
So yeah, so these 3 points I think sort of helped me in my decision-making process.
Yeah. So did you think that you would actually follow this part at the beginning of your college career, like us, like at JP Morgan?
Well, like I said, I knew I wanted to get into corporate finance or finance at the time.
Mm.
I did not know that I wanted to get into maybe like, this, financial analysis program or whatever. Or I didn't know, exactly what I wanted to do. So, but I knew I wanted to get into corporate finance, and I think my 2 years at Brandeis sort of helped me strengthen that belief. I took, plenty of finance classes, economics classes. I took real estate classes, so I had fun learning different things. But just talking to people, like my peers at Brandeis, Radish, and, just different people, I was able to sort of set my mind to corporate finance. I want to get into financial analysis. I wanted to deal with numbers. So that sort of strengthened that belief. And so, yeah,
If you had to do it all again, what would you do differently? Just curious.
honestly, I wouldn't do anything differently because I think I enjoyed my time at Brandeis. I made really good friends that I still keep in touch with. I had lunch with Daniela today uh, at JP Morgan. My roommate is a Brandeis alum, so like I still have that network of Brandeis people uh, here, and then I keep in touch with a lot of Jose, Radish, and everybody. So I think I wouldn't do anything differently, but if there was one thing, I would consider running for student government. I think I would want to, because after Brandeis, a couple of us just joked about it. We're like, what would you do, now that you're looking back? I guess a lot of us, like, especially the people that I spoke with,
Mm-hmm.
like, we would want to run for student government, just being able to help the Brandeis student body, being able to, help them, I guess, have a voice. I think that's important. Yeah, students should have a voice, and I think, yeah.
So, one of the last question for you is like, so what would you look for if you were to in the position to hire somebody from IBS?
Hire somebody from
Yeah,
IBS.
in the field, because I know there's a lot of like student actually interested in the field of like investment banking.
I think for new graduates, um, they before they start looking, they need to know what they want to do. I think IB, like investment banking, is big. IB is a huge field, and I'm in IB, but I'm in a different part of IB. So I make sure trades are booked correctly. They're shown, on the books correctly. And then if you're talking about like the fast-paced, trading world, I'm not in that. But I make sure that those people, they're doing crazy stuff, but I make sure that I hold them accountable for what they're doing. So, which is why I'm maintaining integrity of the balance sheet and income statement. So I would want to hire people who know what they want to do. When they're in IB, they know, okay, I want to get into this, this particular role and why. That's one. Number two, I spend more than 8 hours a day, working with people at work, and so I deal with people at work most of my time awake. So I want to hire people that have great personalities. You want to work with people that you want to enjoy working with people. And so these, I enjoy working with my managers, my coworkers. I have a good time. We have a good time after work, outside of work. And so, these two things I think are really important.
So it seems like all for this video, the first video. Thank you so much, Nick. And
No
hope you
problem.
enjoy your position and also your time at Delaware. And I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to talking to you soon.
Thank you so much for your time. And good luck.
Right.